Buongiorno and welcome to Koi Fish Johnny. As you can tell by my tone, it isn't the type of episode I want to be doing, but unfortunately the episode I have to do. There's been a real deterioration in Jaffa particularly, but we've also got marks on other fish coming about now. I do think that this is entering the bacterial tunnel of hell after looking through it. I don't want to discuss where it's come from, why it's come from. It's 1,000,000% not come from UK Nishigoi, that's to start with. But unfortunately it does look like I'm going to be going down a road of learning about bacteria, or learning about the devastation it can cause. One thing that this has taught me is you've really got to be careful what you put in your pond. I mean super careful. If you're a beginner and you just think, it won't do any harm, it won't do any harm. Well, if you put something in your pond, it stays in your pond. And it can look harmless for a while, like a winter. And then when temperatures or conditions start to emerge, it can be detrimental. It can literally like put you in a place where you no longer enjoy the hobby, because I'll be honest with you, I'm not enjoying the hobby. My son's not enjoying watching his favourite fish blow up like a puffer fish now. Well, that's been a bit dramatic. It's blown up on its side. Jaffa's his favourite fish. He loves that fish to bits. Every day he comes down now, our Jackson, and asks if Jaffa's alive, or why his mouth is rotting, or why he's falling apart. So that's quite difficult to deal with. But anyway, back to my original point. That's why you've got to be super careful what you're putting in your pond, and that's why there's supposed to be measures out there to prevent things like this happening. But it's unfortunate, it just is what it is. And as I'm a beginner, because I've only got 6 years experience of koi keeping, which does not qualify me in any way, shape or form to be a beginner or give any advice to you guys on what you should and shouldn't be doing. I literally share my journey because, like I say, 6 years in the game of keeping koi, you're a beginner. Or I'm a beginner. And I'm still learning, and unfortunately I'm learning with my pond. And I'm finding out what's right and what's wrong. So yeah, Jaffa's blown up. The right side of him's blown up. He's got raised scales under his mouth, doesn't seem to be getting better. I'm going to be fishing him out in a minute, popping him in the bowl there that I've got ready with the sock net and the new big pan net, christening it with a absolutely horrid episode that I'm going to be doing. I just wish I could sort of have this behind me. I wish during life you sort of say, like, if you don't like something you walk away. Well, in pond keeping, if you don't like something and you've done something and you put that thing in your pond, you can't walk away. It's in there, and if it's what I theoretically believe it, or what I believe it to be at this point, there's next to nothing I can do about it. I could end up just chasing my tail for years. Well, not years, but well, yeah, years. And it can have a really bad impact on your mental health and stop you enjoying the one thing that you really wanted to enjoy, which is pond keeping. Because pond keeping isn't fun when your fish are falling apart, and it's even less fun when your kids have to watch your fish falling apart. I don't want to drag this episode down too much, because I only want to provide content in the future that is happy, fun, good, with the occasional little bit of drama. But unfortunately I seem to be stuck at the minute, which in a position of non-enjoyment in my pond keeping through fear of what could be in there. And that's what it is, fear, because there is nothing at certain points that can tell you exactly what you're dealing with. And when you're dealing with something that has so many multiple grey areas, unfortunately parasites can get into those areas, or not parasites can get into that areas and sort of grey up what is really happening. And then you get confused. So, but it's important that I share these parts of my journey, because it is part of pond keeping. It is part of keeping a pond, and these are the risks you take. That's why when you go to a good dealer, you'll see a lot of super high vigilance on care with antibacs and separate nets, and it seems like they're being over the top. I've honestly thought, when I've gone to UK Nishigoi from the start, very start of my pond keeping, and I remember speaking to John and Dave. There was a guy called John that used to work there, smashing bloke he was. Well, still is, I hope. But I thought they were a bit like OTT. I remember walking into UK Nishigoi, like about the 4th time I've been there, and they wanted to test my water and my old Japanese pond that was down there. And bloody hell, John, hit the roof as I walked in with my little lunchbox full of water. Get out, I got water in, get out. And he ordered me out the front door. I don't know whether it was a bit over the top or whether it was just a funny story. And I remember thinking to myself, Jesus, they're over the top, aren't they here? Eh? Can't be that bad, can it? And this was pre-COVID, so so I didn't know that much about anti-vax and everything like that. When you see your local car dealer that's been there for decades, they will have really good or they will have what you feel like is an over-the-top approach. They will ask you not to touch the fish, not to put your hands in the water, because they understand that transferring bacteria or other things through what you might find, humans might find innocent, can be detrimental towards fish. But yeah, I'm waffling and going off in another direction here, but you can sort of see what I'm thinking in relation to this. But the reason why I share those particular points is because I feel like it helps a beginner, or a real fresh beginner, because I'm still a beginner, develop the knowledge and sort of understanding about why when you enter into a world, that's really good to understand, like why certain measures are in place and why everything is so controlled, and why it's important to know your dealer. Also, I'd like to say on this video, just the fact that I know that a lot of people have watched the channel for a long time and have followed me all the way through this journey, and they may be wondering why I don't name a particular person. And that is because I don't ever want that person's name in my mouth. I have nothing to say. I want to distance myself from that side of the community. I want to be no part of it. It's honestly, it's like a maze. You don't know whether you're coming in, when you're going in, you don't know whether you're coming out, or you're going out, or you're going in, or you just come out really confused. So in relation to my videos, you'll never see, I will probably never name a particular person, and comments containing that person's name will be deleted, whether they're good, bad, defensive, protective, aggressive, or anything towards that person. I have zero interest in being in a part of that community, or the shameless dramas that go on in relation to that. But unfortunately, I've added something into my pond which has not made me be part of it. It's made me not be able to just walk away and just have it done and behind me. So unfortunately, I'm dealing with the aftermath, or what I believe to be the aftermath, this bacterial issue that I've got in my pond, which seems to be directly correlated to joining an online challenge. And again, I think that's important for people to know, just because if someone's successful online, or there's a lot of misleading information online, I know that through the fitness world and the MMA world, that just because you've got a camera in front of your face doesn't make you an expert. And there's so many fraudulent people going around, particularly in the fitness world and the mixed martial arts world, pretending they know what they're doing because they've read a book on it. But as you know, if you've done martial arts, mixed martial arts, boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, anything that you wanted to do, you can't read a book on something and think that you know how to do it, because that's not how it works. And it's a little bit like that with pond keeping. You can read all the books under the sun, but until you're on there doing it, like giving birth, for instance, you can read all the books you want on giving birth, but until you give birth, like wife has, you're never going to know what that feeling feels like. And I'm reminded of that quite often. But yeah, so in short, there's going to be basically what I want from my channel is no part of no goddamn dramas. And I don't want to be part of no, I don't want to be part of I want this channel to be upbeat, happy, me with my pond, me with my trusted dealer, and me moving forward. But unfortunately, as I can't really just move forward at this particular point, because I've not got a magic stick and can wave it over the pond and get rid of what I believe to be a bacterial issue affecting the fish, I have to grow through what I go through. So I'm going through hell with this at the minute, and it has at times made me wonder, took too much of my energy up, made me wonder actually whether I want to keep koi, or what I can transfer this pond into, whether I can transfer it into an underground office that I can hide from the kids. But I have actually genuinely had thoughts like this, as a lot of pond keepers have, when I imagine that these times sort of hit. It makes you question things about whether it's worth it. you have conversations with the wife, and should you, shouldn't you, this is getting on my nerves, whatever, vice versa. But I know that parts of me have wished I could just get rid of every single fish in the pond and sort of start afresh, have a break for a few months, and then start afresh maybe next year and go again with all the fish and try and emotionally detach. But there's one fish in there I can't emotionally detach from, it's impossible, which is the tench. And obviously there's other fish that I absolutely love, but when you go through this, which is the shit here, I don't think there's a worse part of this hobby than the not knowing or just looking at your fish every morning thinking they're going to be dead, or thinking there's what's wrong with them. Because the whole point of this hobby is to watch your fish enjoy and chill out. But unfortunately, when you've got something in your pond that could be potentially just eating them alive, you don't really enjoy it. So it is what it is. So what I'm going to be doing now with over the next few days is getting the fish out and inspecting them. But like I said to you, I need to tell you what's wrong with the fish from what I can see from a top-down perspective, because the fish's behaviour isn't great considering the pond is like 20 degrees. They're not like rampatically up at the window feeding. As I say that, they are up at the window feeding, but their usual behaviour is generally a lot more confident than that. In fact, while Jaffa's there, I might try and pop you over the top so you can have a look. Hey mate, he is a superstar. No matter what's going on, he's always up. Wants a stroke on the head, just like my Fred was. Whatever you do, you get a koi pond, one of these is a must-have. A Deutsch Karachi guy. Maybe not the best looking fish, but certainly a star, just like his. I wonder whether Fred was the same bloodline. I don't know. But here we've got Rosa down there. She's got something on the top of her head, popping out. And then hopefully, as you know, Jaffa, who's over there now, I'm hoping to get him now. So, as you know, Jaffa over there used to be a leader in the pond, and now he's not. He's like some dude who's got no personality, he's just wandering around. He was erratically, come on Junior. Okay, so that failed getting those videos for you. So I'm back to this point. And I hope you enjoyed little Junior coming up. He seems sound as a pound, but yeah, they are a little bit more subdued, they are a lot quieter. In relation to the issues that I've got with the fish at the minute, I have got Jaffa has got that horrible thing underneath his mouth. He doesn't feed as much, his behaviour's completely changed. He was going a little bit dramatic, like bounced himself around, like swimming erratically recently. He has been self-isolating. He has been trying to find the calmest part to the pond, and he has just been like a completely different fish, and that is consistent with like being poorly. That's how fish can act when in them particular times, or my understanding as a beginner. And then now he's got like his fins. He's got on both fins now. They've got like singed edges, like something's singeing them. It's weird, really weird. And then they got a little bit of blood in the fins, which I thought was stress, but not stress. And also now we have got, when I looked down on him before, he looked bloated to the side and raised scales. But like I say, over the weekend I'm going to be bowling them up, putting out a video for you guys where I'll not talk about anything to do with the cause. We'll just be looking at the fish, and if you guys can drop any comments about what you think it could be, might be, or might not, some comments will be taken seriously, because there are some absolute gems out there, and then there are some smoke screens with false accounts dropping comments to try and mislead, which them comments will be ignored. So I appreciate the good, informative, supportive comments that come through, is what I'm trying to say there. Right, so next fish, Rosa, has got that big thing on her head, right in the middle of her belly, the red. So it's all peeling away, and that's bulged out her fins. She's got marks in her fins, and she's got a few other bits and bats wrong with her. And then Wanda, the new fish that's gone in, beautiful fish, flicking off the window. Well, she's been in there, she's been in there 4 or 5 weeks now, while the temperature's gone up. I am stupid, I know that. I should not have added these fish, knowing that I could have had an underlying issue, but my impatience got the better of me. I added them in, and now I have got to be suffering the financial, emotional and mental loss of adding those fish in. So if you are in a position like me, don't be stupid, just bloody wait. But she has on her right pectoral fin, has now got like red blood sort of to the side of going down the fin on the side. Well, we'll be getting her up out over the next days and showing you guys just what she looks like. They're the main three fish. Some of the other fish have got a few marks on and a few bits and pieces, but on a whole, they're the three that I'm massively concerned about. So I'll be getting them out over the next few days, doing little videos, and I really do look forward to some of you guys' comments, because I've seen some superb places come through in the comments, and some superb koi dealers that are in the UK that are also offering advice, guidance and support, as well as obviously having the magnificent support that I get from UK Nishigoi, which is keeping me in the hobby, to be honest, keeping me in the hobby, and keeps me positive. As you can see, this fella, I hope he survives through it, because he is the right character. Honestly, you've seen it on my short, he is just a little fruitcake. I put anything in there, he goes for it. The rest don't. But yeah, I'm just sorry that this episode's a bit shit, to be honest. But it is what it is, and we go through what we go through. And obviously by the end of this, I'd say another 2 years I'll probably be a pro, because I've been through bloody everything. But at the end of the day, what I've got to do, and we'll do it. And also I'd like to give a shout out to my kids. This is not a playground. This is my pond area. What the hell have I got this big paddling pool for? And clean up after yourselves, you little buggers. Alright, so on that note guys, I'm off to plan how I'm going to plan my course of action, and how I'm going to sort of tackle this, which fish I'm going to get out first, how I'm going to look at them, and hopefully I'll have an episode coming out soon for you guys as a little update about where we're at, what we're doing, and how things are actually looking. Okay, so have a great weekend, take care, and hopefully things aren't as bad as they seem.